That was my objective. That was my objective. Don't bring this back to El Paso.
A second account of a fight involving local superintendents. Now, YISD's Xavier de la Torre claims he's the victim.
Let me be very clear. This was not a fight. This was an assault.
Socorro superintendent maintains his innocence, why he says the facts are on his side.
Live from the KFOX 14 studios in El Paso and Las Cruces, you're watching the Emmy Award-winning KFOX 14 News at 9.
Mr. De La Torre, there's several accusations saying that you hit Mr. Espinosa. Do you have anything to say, sir?
He wouldn't answer our questions weeks ago. Now, YISD Superintendent Xavier de la Torre says he is not to blame for a physical confrontation with Socorro School District's Jose Espinosa.
If he says he's the aggressor, he's basically calling the San Antonio Police Department, those police officers who have sworn to take office, liars or incompetent.
Espinosa pushing back against those claims tonight. KFOX 14 News at 9's Marissa Saenz spoke with Espinosa directly tonight. She is live at SISD headquarters with his response to De La Torre's story.
Socorro ISD Superintendent Dr. Jose Espinosa spoke with the media, and he says that he does not want to engage in a back-and-forth argument about the incident. That night, the police report states that De La Torre confronted Espinosa. I asked Espinosa why he engaged with De La Torre, who had made a comment about his clothing. Espinosa says he didn't hear what De La Torre said, so he went back to ask him, and that's when De La Torre headbutted him. Espinosa did not file charges that night. I asked if he will reconsider. He said no.
You know, and I've thought about that, and like I said initially, and now I did not press charges because I thought, you know, I was not seriously hurt. Michelle Obama, I think this is quoted to her, when they go low, you go high.
Before the meeting, I spoke with SISD Board Trustee David Morales, who is in audio recordings we obtained, talking with De La Torre about the incident and about that night. I asked him about the conversation, and he did not want to talk about it.
Recently, where we were talking about how I was gonna make a statement in regards to how this has been taken out of proportion.
You did meet with him one-on-one, correct?
Well, like I said, we're going to be ready to start at our meeting here shortly, and that was a statement I wanted to make. 4 of 6 of SISD's board members were at the Whataburger that night with Espinosa. The question has been raised if they were in violation of the Texas Open Meetings Act. SISD's legal team was in the room whenever we were speaking with Espinosa, and they said that they are not in violation because it was a social function. Espinosa says he just wants to move past this since the school year is about to begin. Reporting live in Far East El Paso, Marissa Saenz, KFOX 14 News at 9.
Marissa, thank you. De La Torre is apologizing for the incident, but he insists he didn't start the fight. Today, he addressed the matter for the first time. In a statement he released, it says in part, "I did not headbutt anyone. I understand there is information in the public domain that states otherwise, but this information is inaccurate as to the actual events that transpired that night." He goes on to say that new information is forthcoming soon to substantiate what he says is the true version of events. Now, the Isleta School Board will hold a special meeting next Tuesday to discuss the matter and take action. Board President Cruz Ochoa says he wants to make sure there is enough time to get all the information. Today's developments come after obtained recorded conversations over that incident. We have a full report with those recordings coming up in just a matter of minutes.
Many of you are weighing in on this story on our Facebook page. Here's a look at some of the comments that have been submitted so far. Eddie Hernandez wrote in saying, "Sounds like an attempt to cover up a drunken night altercation." Ramos Carmona wrote in, "Both should be fired. They're supposed to set an example, not act like children." Richard Reyes wrote, in part, "Our schools and administrators hold the children accountable for their actions and follow strict code of conduct. These two misrepresented our 2 districts and should both be held accountable." And again, as Robert just mentioned, you can listen to the entire recordings on our website, kfoxtv.com. We will have some of those recordings coming up later in this newscast.
Returning now to our top story, 2 of the borderland's top educators in a physical altercation after hours at a Whataburger. It's the story grabbing headlines for more than a week.
We're talking about the superintendents of the Socorro and Isleta school districts, respectively. And now KFOX 14 has obtained recordings about the incident. KFOX 14 News at 9's Jayla Washington joins us live in the studio with the claims that are heard in these recordings.
Well, these recordings we're about to play, you'll be listening to a conversation over the phone and a conversation face-to-face between YISD Superintendent Xavier De La Torre and SISD board member David Morales. Now, these recordings are about 30 minutes altogether. In them, Morales lays everything out to De La Torre that he says happened that night, an incident involving SISD's superintendent.
And then you could say, okay, this is maybe an angle we might be able to take.
Some say there are two sides to every story.
My thing is, I want to be on a level playing ground.
This is SISD board member David Morales and YISD Superintendent Xavier De La Torres' version of what happened the night of a confrontation with SISD Superintendent Jose Espinosa.
It didn't sit right. It didn't sit. And then, from what you're telling me right now, that you only recall a couple of things, and there were other things.
After the incident was exposed, Morales told De La Torre he needed to speak up.
David, I appreciate it so much. You don't have any idea, because I do feel like I'm all by myself.
Morales, first in a phone call, begins filling in the blanks for De La Torre, who says he didn't remember all that happened.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
But the two decide to meet face-to-face in a place they describe as not popular and more remote to lay everything out.
I see you coming walking up, and that's when the altercation, or whatever you want to call it, happened.
Morales tells De La Torre he saw the fight coming back from the bathroom.
At that point, I hear something about soccer uniform or soccer coach.
Morales says things got heated fast.
The next thing I know, it struck you, and you were on your backside. You were flat on your back.
I didn't know I fell. Were my hands in my pocket when he hit me?
I believe so.
Morales tells De La Torre he helped him up.
And he said, I got you now, and you were pretty adamant and repeating that.
Morales says an off-duty sheriff's deputy got involved and called San Antonio police. Morales says the officer that arrived was filling in the blanks about the incident, saying Espinosa punched De La Torre in self-defense.
Well, here's what happened. At that point, they flipped it around, and then they put you. And you were, now, I'm going to be very honest with you. You were pretty belligerent, and you were just going off.
De La Torre asks if he really headbutted Espinosa.
Here's another thing about the head, okay? I didn't see it, but from what I'm gathering, I guess you leaned into it.
And that's what he's calling the headbutt?
Well, I think not him. See, you and I left.
Now, it's not clear from the recordings why De La Torre didn't remember, though he and Morales did mention the incident and unfolded very quickly. Morales also told De La Torre that everyone involved that night did want to keep what happened in San Antonio and didn't want word to spread here in El Paso. For now, live in studio, Jayla Washington, KFOX 14 News at 9.